Hello, and welcome to this week's Feel Good Friday. Today the topic is "Hey, remember me," and that is because this week I have been away looking after a friend of mine's children and her house while she was away, and Olivia was there with me. We had a nice breakaway and a change of scene and just time to get away from a break from the norm and forget about everything that's going on in my current reality and focus on something other than the daily grind. And it gave me time to reflect, and whilst I was there I jumped on my 2 study group calls on the Monday and Wednesday, and we've been delving deep into the animal characteristics recently. So for those of you who may not be familiar of it, it's like the Enneagram and the colour personalities and things like that. So my mentor had suggested that the dolphin personality likes to try and avoid responsibility, and over the past 18 years post-surgery I have consciously made an effort, knowing now that because I'm responsible for my own actions, that I'm also responsible for the consequences. So I make a point of always owning up and taking responsibility. If I've made a mistake, I'll hold my hands up and say, yeah, sorry, I did that. But personal responsibility is a very different thing to the responsibility to your commitments, and it made me more aware that that's possibly why I've had different phases of finding motherhood a challenge, because I pride myself on being the best mum I can be, and Olivia, bless her, tells me all the time that I am the best mum. And when I get feedback from the teachers, you must be doing something right. I do believe that to the best of my ability, I'm the best mum I can be. But having 3 other children in the house and seeing how their needs differ, it gave us both, Olivia and I, a deeper clarity that we're grateful and appreciate that she is an only child, because she didn't want the hassle of the siblings and all of the the conflict and the rivalry that comes within a family unit when you're spending so much time in one area and one space with each other that you can't avoid these conflicts, and it's not so easy to resolve them. Excuse me. It led me to thinking that as I've recently become aware that I have a tendency to look outside of myself for answers and to fulfill my feelings and things like that. I am very passionate about helping my hundreds of students in the last 5 years of my education career. I often feel their pain and want very much to be able to help them, and I went into education initially thinking, if I'd have only known this back then maybe I may not be suffering like I am now, or I may have, had a deeper insight and dealt with this better now. It also then led me to think, actually, all of the feedback that Olivia gives me that, she's feeling sensitive about this, or she doesn't understand why it's not fair that the eldest child, gets to do all the chores and the youngest child always gets what they want. And that was very prevalent over the 6 days we were away, because there was her, a 5-year-old, another 7-year-old and a 10-year-old. So she was kind of that middle child again. And often as mums, we do bend and give in to the needs of the younger child for an easy life. And because, we're aware and the other children aren't so aware that they were once that age and they didn't have that emotional intelligence then to deal with those things, and that is often why we, you know, give in to the needs of the younger child. But it also raised my awareness that whilst I'm so focused on outwardly being the best mother I can to you know, firstly and foremost to Olivia, but also to all my other students and any younger, you know, young people that I come into contact with, but also as a coach, you know, I see myself as a servant mother leader. You know, I have that mother's heart, and my passion, integrity, and my genuine desire to want to help others comes from a mother's heart. And it got me to thinking that, you know, maybe all those years ago, this void that I have within me of not being good enough, or, you know, I've always had to fight and struggle to get where I want to go, is that inner child within me saying, you know, hey, remember me, you know. So I think it's made me more aware that really what I might need to do is, again, focus more inwardly and heal those wounds, you know, from the 8-year-old me, where all of these, you know, fears and anxieties started. Because, you know, however old we are, I have a tendency to be very hard and very critical on myself if I can't do something, or I fail to do something I said I'm going to do. I think, you know, oh, you're a grown-ass woman now, you know, pull yourself together, you should be able to do this. Forgetting that no matter what age we are, we all have that inner child within us that, you know, goes along our journey and still every now and again asks to be remembered. So I think, yeah, really my overall reflection and takeaway from this week has been that, you know, maybe I should spend some time reconnecting with that 8-year-old me to see how I can work with her, and, you know, not to forget that while I'm giving love and attention and reassurance to Olivia, all of her friends and all of my students, that sometimes I just need to go inwards and, you know, tell myself, you know, hey, you know, you're doing your best, or you did a great job there, and remind and reassure the little girl within me. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional now just talking about it. But yes, so my advice this week really is to, you know, have a check-in with yourself, and, you know, if you're struggling to achieve something, you know, I think really my biggest thing is the resistance around all of these things, because again, I've been looking outwardly for love, and I've always grown up believing that it's better to give love than to receive it. I've now become aware that by blocking myself off to receiving love, and, you know, to avoid the pain of rejection and all of the other things that come with it, I'm also rejecting and blocking my receiving of anything else I'm putting out there, because ultimately everything is love and we are love. And even though I give it in abundance, if I'm not open to receive it, then, you know, I'm never going to get any of the things that I'm desiring. So I'm asking you to, again, check in with yourself and see where you might be holding resistance and where you may need to spend some time nurturing your inner child. So thank you for joining me live, David, Susan and Richard. And anyone that watches the replay, I look forward to seeing you all next week. Take care. Bye-bye.